NASA has reported up to 6 M-class solar flares, despite the fact, by the way, that we are in solar minimum. That doesn't mean that solar flares cease to exist. In fact, they're quite stronger when they do impact our Earth's magnetic field, especially when it's one after the other. It's just simply that during solar minimum, the sun is quieter, but dead is something that it's not. It's anything but. So spaceweather.com is reporting on a minor geomagnetic storm, beating low probabilities of magnetic activity. A minor G1 class geomagnetic storm erupted on April 4th, sparking bright auroras around the Arctic Circle. NASA has reported 6 M-class solar flares. According to Tech2 reports, NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory has one job, and that is to observe the sun. The spacecraft was launched in 2010, and it's been providing a steady stream of high-quality images of the sun since. The data received from the SDO is made available to the public soon after the spacecraft collects it. This allows continuous, almost real-time monitoring of the activity on the sun. Someone else here is noting online the correlation between recent earthquakes on the planet. So apparently there's been a lot taking place within the last 24 hours, specifically with regards to the sun. And there are a number of images that have been released. They point out that the huge blasts were not harmful to humans, but could affect the atmosphere. Well, it's not necessarily harmful to humans, but humans that are out of balance, that are affected by an increase in solar activity, yes, sometimes they grab a knife or a gun and they go out killing people. Others may have a spiritual experience, but we are affected by the sun. We are affected by light. We are affected by a rise and fall of melatonin. If this subject is new to you, if you type in my name and solar maximum and the effects on human behavior and cycles of war, and there's a presentation online, and I'm going to be continuing to delve into this topic. So we can see changes to GPS. We can see that's something that affects travel. There are studies that they have done on solar flares and moods that are in the mainstream media. Just so you know, this is not just a fringe idea. Type in stock market fluctuations or effects on the stock market, solar flares, Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta. You'll find a 2011 article from Reuters. And there's a couple other studies that have been done on suicidal behavior and solar flares. And that is an article that I found in newscientist.com. So you hear about the grid. You hear about the Carantine event of 1859. There are other things that you're not hearing about solar flares. I want to thank Kyle Reardon of thelastbastille.com. If you want to visit that website, or you can just go to alexansary.tv. I would definitely recommend reading my 8-page 2009 report. This is something that I put together 8 years ago. Here we are 8 years later. Okay, 8 years after I wrote that report. And, you know, this is something that to me is far more fascinating than getting involved in an argument whether or not the earth is flat. I know some decent people that delve into, I guess, that line of thought. It's not something that, you know, I choose to make an argument out of with them, nor them with me, because they know I'm a decent person and I know they're a decent person. But I've seen what it's done to others. I've seen what it's done to others, even people that have followed my work for a decade. And I'm telling you, it really does feel, in my opinion, like the whole, you know, flat earth thing is a complete psyops, complete distraction from some of the things that we should be looking at. And back to this article from the Express that I'm reading. They are reporting on the widespread display of auroras. And this is something that fascinates a lot of people. It doesn't fascinate me as much because I know that there is a genuine impact, for better or for worse, on human behavior or human thought or human spirituality, human action, human biology, even male testosterone. I know my own body. I know how I'm affected. I mean, I remember at one point when I was living in Portland, I would wake up during the solar flare itself or the eruption. And then I would read about it at spaceweather.com. I would later come to an awareness that certain cities, we may be even more sensitive to those solar flares. Maybe there's a reason I also moved away from not only that city, but the city of my birth. And I'm over here now. I'm over here now in Colorado. I'm at a higher elevation, but the feeling is different. And so I certainly don't want to talk over people's head, but I'm telling you with all my heart and soul, for those of you that have just never been exposed to the idea that we are affected by the sun, this is some sort of a new science. It's an old science, but it's like a science that's been forgotten. And we're here, for whatever reason, possibly trying to remember. And I think that there is great value in this information. I'm Alex Ansary, signing off for April 4th, 2017.